wrong with the drawers in your room, Timmy?
They don't open far enough.
And why is that a problem?
Because I can't get my clothes out.
Oh. So you have clothes in there that you can't really get to.
Correct.
All right, let's see what he's talking about. Let's see. All right. So ignore the craziness. Okay, so these are the drawers that he's talking about. These are your standard IKEA drawers. And both boys share this room. They look almost identical. This one is right here, and this one's right here. But they were actually manufactured a few years apart, and let me show you the difference. These drawers, when you pull them out, you can actually access most of the drawers. You know, there's a good, I don't know, almost like a foot opening, and you can get to the stuff that's inside the drawers. We bought the exact same set of drawers for his brother, and thinking that it worked the same way. However, since they made those, these do that. And I don't know if you can see the difference, but look. And I'll get a measuring tape in a minute, but that is a big difference in how these drawers open. And these were, issued about a year, or not, probably about 3 or 4 years apart. So, and the reason they did this is because there was huge safety concerns and incidents because people weren't anchoring these to the wall. And when they weren't anchoring to the walls, if you pulled out your top drawer and you had it full of stuff, it tended to push the weight of the entire drawer off in front of it, and the entire set of drawers could fall over and tip over onto the person who was using it. And usually, since these are put in kids' rooms, those are children. So that was the danger. So, yes, proper safety concern. That's fantastic. However, they make the drawers really hard to use. So I'm going to do something to these drawers. I'm going to change the way the drawer. I'm going to replace these drawer pulls with regular standard drawer pulls, so the drawers will be able to open completely, and you'll be able to access the thing. I do want to say, we're still going to keep this thing anchored to the wall because the concern is still there. These are very light cabinets. They don't have any lower weight. So if you do overfill them, they will tip over. But this is an improvement so that he can actually use these drawers. Other people, I'm sure, have these drawers and want to know how you do this. So let's go through the process and let's figure this out. Tools you're going to need for this project: pencil, marking pencil, screwdriver. You need a center hole punch. This is for figuring out where the marking where the holes are after you've marked where the holes are. This is a guide that's going to give us the measurement from the edge of the drawer. This one I designed, I think it's like 120 millimeters from the edge. And show what that means. These are 2 drill bits because we're going to use 2 sets of screws. We're going to use the IKEA screws, which I think uses this bigger drill bit, I think 3/32, and then this is like a 3/16. So the ones that use the screw, and then a drill. So those are the basic. Oh, and then this some kind of longer ruler, preferably with some kind of right angle straight edge on the side too, because we're going to use that to kind of mark where the things are going to be. First step to be able to replace these drawers is to mark a common line that the drawers in the cabinet are going to share. And this is really the main the major thing that you got to be able to solve for these problems, because we're going to replace these drawers, but they have to be lined up perfectly. Normally you would mark these out and you could design around that, but since we're retrofitting these, we have to really kind of do that. So what I did is I 3D printed a little guide that's going to help us. This is just a real simple print. It's just a little piece of plastic. You can make this out of anything. You can make this out of cardboard, anything. And really the main thing is just it has a little slot here. And I can put this over on the edge of the drawer, and I can mark a line here. And now this line is here. Hopefully you can see that. And we're going to push it over to the edge over here and draw another little line around the edge right here. So what we're going to do is transfer this line to the inside of the cabinet, and we're going to replace the thing. So we're going to do this on both sides, and then when we're done, we're going to take out the original drawer pulls and we're going to line up our new drawer pulls. All right, so we're going to take this drawer out. let me show you how stupid these things are. Point home. And hopefully I don't have to take too much stuff out of here, but you kind of see, instead of the runner going all the way to the end over here, it stops about, 3 inches short. This is why this thing can't pull out very far. So we're gonna get rid of this, put on some new drawer slides on here, and hopefully make this a much easier to use cabinet. So here are the drawer slides. Let's see what we got. I don't think these came with any hardware. Oh yeah, there's inside. There's some screws. Exactly what we need. Cool. And so the way these work, these are re-segmented, so they should extend. That's how they are able to extend the full distance. And then you can, I'm doing this off camera apparently. Okay, so here we go. I'm learning how to do this, extend full distance, and they should be able to come apart. There's a release on right here, and this is what's actually gonna go onto your drawer. And then when you're done installing, the drawers will snap in. That clicks on and it locks in. So these can the first step is to remove these, and we're going to install this bracket over onto the actual inside wall of the cabinet. Okay, so if you look at these, they've got a bunch of different holes. You don't have to use all of these. These are oblong, which means you can use them to adjust how far or in and out once you put the holes in. So it'd probably be a good idea to start with these, and then once you have those locked in place, we can use like one of these that are straight. It's a straight hole to kind of get it locked in. So first we're gonna put these, and then what we're gonna do is we want to put this all the way to the right here by the edge. Hopefully you can see that. And that's because that's where you want the drawer all the way to go in. So this is going to line up with the edge. Sorry, I flipped around. This part right here that's going to be on the drawer is going to slide in and go all the way to the inside. So that's where we're going to want. That's why we want to put this right here at the edge of the cabinet. And if we're going to do, the reason we do these lines are going to be what we're going to use to guide where exactly the position of these holes are going to be in the cabinet. Let's see. That's a good one. So I'm going to put a little tick here. Okay, so now that we have these holes marked, we're going to go ahead and make an even better mark before we drill the holes in here. And we're going to use this little thing. It's called a hole center punch. The nice thing about these is that they're spring loaded. So when you push against where you want to mark, they do a little pop, and they'll actually leave a little indent in where you want to actually put your drill bit. And this is really nice because keeps your drill bit from going this way and this way. A lot of times it's really hard to get hinges and drawer slides and things because you need really precise placement of those bits. So with this tool, you get it right here. And these are not expensive. These are super cheap. You can get these for less than $10 on Amazon. So I'm gonna put a little punch here, a little pop, and you can adjust like how hard you want that punch to happen. So we have little divots here, and then next thing we're gonna get our drill and find a little drill bit and pre-drill these little holes. All right, so we found our drill bit. This I believe is a 1/16 drill bit, and we wanted to match it up something to, you're trying to drill a hole for the screw. Always make sure that your threads and the size of the bit is about the size of the barrel of the screw, but not bigger than the threads of the screw. So that's always kind of the more. So if you put like the screw, the screw in front of here, you should see that it'll be right in front. Yeah. So we're gonna use this, and then so let's do that. Let's chuck it in our bit. And we have to make sure that we don't need to drill very far. This is a really short screw, right? Really tiny. So in order to prevent us to going too far, we're going to take piece of tape, a little tiny piece. That's all we need. And we're going to create a little flag, and we're only going to make sure that this doesn't go any deeper than this. Right, so we don't need to make the hole any deeper than that. So this is our depth gauge kind of thing. So we're going to use that. So let's see over here. Don't need to go very fast. MDF is very soft, so it won't take very long to drill. That's it. That's it. Okay, so now I actually create a lot of mess. I didn't actually empty these drawers out. I was a little worried, but you know what? I think you're fine. Nothing too much to worry about. All right, got our screwdriver, and our screws, and we can start attaching these. So let's see where we put our holes. Looks like we put one there and here. So let's do this one real quick. So we get one in, we should be fine. Okay. Okay, grab the other screw. So we're going to do two right now, and then we'll check the depth, and then we'll put the third one on later when we're done. Here's the other one. And we use the oblong holes because I want to be able to kind of adjust how deep, so we can move this thing a little front and back, make sure that we're at the right spot. So let's just do it here for right now. It's relatively tight, but it's pretty secure. So we'll go ahead and do this for the other side, and then we'll attach the other part that goes to the drawer. So for the drawers themselves, we're going to put the drawer slides on here. and do the same thing. We're gonna mark some holes. We actually only need about 2, maybe 3. We'll figure this out. We're going to use these vertical holes because the front and back we're not going to worry about because we're going to push it all the way to the edge over here. Not as important, but we may do want to adjust how up and the up and down of the whole thing, the vertical adjustment. So we're going to use the vertical adjustment holes for this because there's the gap between the drawers is going to be very tight. So we're going to make sure that that works well. Another thing to note for these drawers is because these drawer slides actually do a dual duty for these IKEA drawers. They actually act as a bracket to hold the bottom in. So if we take them off, then we're actually going to weaken the bottom of the drawer, or we have to do something different to brace the bottom of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to see if we can keep them on there, and hopefully this wheel doesn't interfere with the actual sliding mechanism. That's why this is a little higher than this. So the whole system should still work based on its location and not, run into this. Cross your fingers, that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, we're going to use center line that we had marked earlier. Here's the vertical. I'm going to mark it here. I'm going to mark this one here. And let's see. I think this one's over here. Okay, so those are marked. And we're going to do something different since we're going to go ahead and use the screws that came with it. I'm going to not do pre-hole drills. We're going to just do a straight drill into this material. I know I said that's probably not a good idea, but we're going to go do it anyways. Yep. And go mark this. We got some little extra help. Here comes Leo. Say hello, Leo. I want to go ahead and change what I did earlier. I was doing a pre-drill. I wasn't doing a pre-drill. I was trying to do it, but after doing several of these, I found out that it was actually better to do the pre-drill. And I believe this is a 3/16 drill bit. So it's what I said before, trying to get the drill bit to be the size of the barrel of the screw, not the threads. So just shorter than the threads, or narrower than the threads. That's what I mean. Punch. Punch. And then we go with the drill bit. So that's on there. And then we'll go ahead and put the drawer rail on here. Okay. Always screw these in manually because it is MDF, it is not wood. So you just want to get it tight enough that it feels firm, but don't over tighten because you'll just strip out the material, and that's bad. You don't want to do that. So let's go ahead. And we're trying to hit kind of the middle of these brackets, these adjustable holes. But again, these are going to be adjusted, so we're going to try to figure out the best spacing. See, the spacing between the drawers faces is, barely, an 1/8 of an inch, so it's not very much. So their tolerance is pretty tight there. So I'm going to be able to adjust these here up and down a little bit just to make sure that the drawers don't collide when they go in. So I'm going to do the other side. This is the last drawer. But this is not a small project. This is going to take you a few hours. This is not something that you can knock out in an hour. It's just time consuming. It's just a lot of marking and drilling holes and just kind of repetitive. So give yourself a nice bucket of time one afternoon to get this done. Again, the first one always the toughest one to try to understand how this works, and then you get to do it again 3 more times. By the end of it, you should pretty much be an expert drawer installer. I'm still not a huge fan of installing drawers. Just do what you do. Okay. All right, moment of truth. This is the last one. All right. Oh, let me cover one last little bit in that note. When deciding which kind of drawers, which size drawers to put in here, you want to go ahead and measure the depth of the cabinet. And this depth of the cabinet is about 16.5 inches. So that 16.5 inches is kind of determines what size drawer slides you can get. So 16.5 inches, you can get drawer slides that are at least 16 inches long. You could also go by the actual drawer length. Drawer length is 15. So ideally 15 would have been great. Would have worked perfectly. However, those weren't available. There was like a 14 inch and a 16 inch, so I went with 16. It sticks out a little further, but still works great. So let's get the last one, moment of truth. Let's hopefully this last one goes in. Okay, see, here's a little tight here, so let's go ahead and see if we can adjust position of these screws back on the sides over here. A little tight, so I think we're going to brace this one over here. That's what we do. It's really tight, so we're gonna have to kind of noodle with this. This is a little snug here, it's a little high here, so let's bring this one down here. Okay. Bring that down a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's looking a lot better. We get a little close action. Okay, so I can actually raise this, lower this a little bit. Alright, cool. About the new drawers.
Ooh, new drawers.
Pull them out.
Oh wow, that's a lot better.
Try them all. They should all work. Yes.
Wow, I can go to the back of them. Well, wow, I can access the clothes in the back.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Should have done that a long time ago.
Yeah, probably.
Oh well.